Hi guys. For my followers, I wish I could do the typical good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I guess I just did it. But okay. So we're in serious times right now. I know you guys have seen what's been going on in the news. I know you guys have seen, what's been going on around the world. I know you guys have experienced the COVID-19. Either you've experienced it through quarantine or you've experienced it through family members or friends, God forbid, being ill, getting better, or, the latter. But we are in serious times. My initial thought pattern was to talk about the connection between spirituality and racism, as above so below. That's my thing. That's my thing. That's what I believe in. I believe everything that's happening to us on this three-dimensional realm is something bigger that's happening in a higher space than we're connected to right now. There is something, my spirit is like, there is a war. In the most Thor voice that you could think of, there is a war coming, and it's coming for us. I did a video on the Black experience and spirituality, and that video was about an hour long, and I talked about the connection between the 7 chakras and being Black in this country. Because if you guys have been listening to me for a while, you know I'm not from this country. I have nothing against this country. I just think this country is very cruel to people who look like me. And I've always been a very highly spirited person. I've always been very aware of, the many dimensions of reality. And there's something coming, and it's not going to be good for us. And it's this video is more for I guess us, the softer people, the people who believe in love and light. We see the stuff that's happening in the world, and we pray, we meditate, we yoga, we work out, we believe, most of all, we believe that, things will get better. And there's a scariness going on outside. I have 2 little ones of my own, and I have to explain to them. Like I told you guys in prior videos, I'm a very dark tone woman. I'm black on black, okay? I did my genealogy, and I'm 96% African, 3% Russian, 1% Native American. So I'm black. And this is, I personally believe, if you can fathom this with me for one quick second, I personally believe this whole Black problem is an introduction to the real problem. I think this African American, this Native American, this Jewish American, this Spaniard American, this Italiano American, this Black problem is something that's bigger than what we can perceive it to be. Because, guys, I watched this video today of this, I think the little child could have been 12. This 12-year-old child getting arrested by the police for something he did. The video kind of picked up right when handcuffs was put on him, and I don't know what he did or what he didn't do, but it was gruesome to watch. Like they treated this child as if he was an adult that they hate. And I think that's what a lot of us who are highly aware are realizing. This war, this, like, if you listen to people like Bob Marley or any of these types of people, they always talk about a war. This war that we're fighting is not a war of persona. It's a war most likely of energy. Love is fighting hate. And love is standing up for herself or his self, whatever, gender role we want to play love for. Love is standing up for itself against hate. And right now she's weak because she's dealing with a lot of her children dying. She's dealing with, if we can expand our viewpoint, she's dealing with a lot of her children starving on this planet. She's dealing with a lot of her children being caught up on drugs, on alcohol. Like, she's dealing with the suffering of her children. This is love. And she's kind of weak. She's been crying, nonstop. It's like a mother weeping her child. But she's telling every one of us who are willing to listen, I'm strong. I got this. Just keep fighting. I'm coming back. I got this. And hate, her counterpartner, if you could look at it as a marriage or a friendship or a relationship, her counterpartner is like, she's down. I got her. I could take over now. And she's just watching, like, I'm here, guys. Believe. Keep fighting. And that's what I've witnessed in the past 2 weeks. I'll tell you guys, I saw that video of the young man, George Floyd, being murdered, and I had to have that conversation with my son. And it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still dealing. I don't know how to feel anymore. I went through the 7 stages of grief. I got angry. I got sad. I got depressed. I tried to make myself happy. It didn't work. And then I had to rewind back. What were you doing prior to that? And I'm like, well, prior to witnessing the video, I was kind of stressed out about the reality. I was scared for the election coming up in November. I remember I was having this conversation with my husband, and I was like, how are we going to vote? With COVID-19, how are we going to vote? And he was like, don't worry about it. Everything always works out in the end. And I'm not one of those people. I told you guys, I'm a Taurus. I do not believe in everything will work out in the end. I believe in structure and balance. I don't believe in, just let it go and it will work out. I believe every time we've let things go and believe they're going to work out, as a collective people, we've brushed things under the table. And then the problem, the situation, the issue, it always comes back up in the most jaw-dropping way. And I said that to him. I said, yo, if you can remember, if you rewind time 100 years from now, because I don't know what it is about 100 years, from 2019, it was I think it was June. Guys, I'm so sorry if my voice sounds off, but it's been a rough 2 weeks. But I believe June 2019, I started having visions about 100. And I correlated it with 100 years ago. And I'm like, 1919, 2019. Well, a lot has changed in 100 years, The country has been reformatted in 100 years. Different people have come here and have experienced the goodness of what the ideation of this country was about. Some people are really still experiencing the roughness of this experience, but we pray for them, we meditate for them, We run, we yoga, we think about them in the light of goodness, and we hope their experiences change, but we are only people. And it was mid-January 2020, and my kids, they got in the car, and I'd never heard about this, so I was like clowning them. They were like, "Mom," and my kids have such an open relationship with me. Like, we talk about everything. And my oldest, who's turning 13 this year, he was like, "Mom, do you know that in March they're going to close down all the schools in America because this virus is coming? It's called COVID-19, coronavirus is coming." And this is January. And we had this conversation for a month straight. And I kept telling them, "You guys are crazy. Like, a virus taking over the country, and stop it." And then more and more the news started talking about how China and different countries were being taken down by this virus. And I remember it was early January. I'd gotten this rush of positive energy, and I posted this video, and I'll try to link it, and it was about creating your reality. In that moment when I recorded that video, I felt a message where it was like, life is changing and it's chaotic now, but it is not going to stay this chaotic. So use this 365 days, time, however minutes, however many hours, and create your reality. Create your reality. And when the episode happened on Memorial Day, I saw time and space merge from the past to the present. You guys can remember in several videos I talked about how Uranus is going into Taurus, and Taurus is very abrasive to change, and Uranus is literally the planet, the energy, the god of change, right? But yesterday I was doing some research, which I'm going to do a separate video about that. It's about the traveling of our planetary bodies, and something came over me, and I had this revelation how the sun, if you really flow on the energy of the sun, you will notice that the energy of the sun is like, it has multiple personality syndrome. The sun god, the sun, has multiple personality syndrome. However, other planetary bodies who take longer to travel past us, collecting our energy, because as humans we are very powerful, they have a very structured personality. The moon takes 2.5 days to pass through a sign. The sun takes 28 to 30 days, 31 days to pass through a sign, and it goes on and on. However, when you reach the big guys, I call them the big boys in my mind. When you reach the big boys like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, these guys take a while to travel through our space and reach us again. Like, they go into the darkness of our solar system and then come back to us with information, if that makes sense, right? And so I was thinking about Uranus, and I looked it up. I have several books. That wasn't enough for me, so I had to go to Papa Google, and I pulled it up on Google, and it stated that the last time that Uranus was in Taurus was during 1939 through 1941, which is World War I leading into World War II. Now, during that time, Black people in this country had no rights. 1939 through 1941. Open your mind and go back in time. Black people in this country had no rights. So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, he's catching up. to time and space. He's been gone. This is Uranus. He's been gone from his safe sign of Taurus. As much as those of us who are born in under the sign of Taurus, these are late April, early May babies. As much as we hate sudden change, we actually do appreciate change, because change always brings about goodness or knowledge or wisdom, right? So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, the last time Papa Uranus was home, meaning here on Earth with us, the last time Papa Uranus was here with us was during, it's like Captain America being frozen. If you can understand where I'm going with this, you understand? Like, it's like when Captain America got frozen and they woke him up in the 2000s, and he was asking about what is that the SOS things that they used to communicate with. Like, he was asking about old technology, and they were like, oh no, here's a cell phone, make a phone call, and that threw him for a loop. It's like that. I personally believe if we can understand that energy is life and life is energy, when our big boys, when our papas and our uncles, Jupiter, Uranus, Saturn, Pluto, when our big boys go out into the darkness of reality, the ends of our reality, as far as the human mind can bend itself, they're there. When they come back and we've made so many changes to our reality, they have to catch up. They have to catch up. I'm so sorry if I start crying. It's a lot. They have to catch up. And when they're catching up, they're doing their natural jobs. Okay? Like, they're doing, for the past week, I've been trying to get the birthday of George Floyd. I've been trying to get his birthday because I want to know his sign. I want to know his birth sign and his draconic sign, so I can kind of get a bigger picture of what's really going on. Because I do read birth charts. I do that. Like, I'm trying to get his birthday so I can know, like, what's really going on. Uranus is in Taurus right now, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Uranus is direct in Taurus right now since March. So Uranus represents change. Uranus represents, like, literally the definition of change: financial change, societal change, economic change, everything change, right? And the last time Uranus was in Taurus was the beginning of the last century. That's the word for 100 years, century, right? And Uranus plans to be here until 2027. And this is just the beginning, guys. So that means, in my perception, there is so much that we've not been doing in the past 84 years that needs to be cleaned up so we can move to where we need to be. And that's Uranus. Like, I'm a Taurus, but I truly believe in my lifetime, the traumas of my life have caused me to be softer than I was as a child. As a child, I was tough. I was a tough girl. I fought for my life in ways that I never thought possible. And I remember my go-to was, I'm a girl. I used to say that in my sleep, in my wake. I used to say that all the time. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. Why is life fighting me so hard when I'm a girl? Right? And I believe, like, what we're going through right now is, simply put, Uranus is here, and Uranus is learning about what we've been through in the past 84 years. And Uranus is looking how I used to, like, scream at myself when I used to, like, watch the news, like, you guys are crazy, we should be having flying cars by now. Like, Uranus is on that wavelength. Like, You guys have the technology, but you don't know what to do with it. You have the spirituality, but you can't connect with each other. You have the love, but you can't apply it to one another. There is something that's stopping you from reaching that point that you need to reach to propel yourself to the next level. And that's where Uranus comes in. Saturn, I believe, is going direct as well. And Saturn is discipline. So all this stuff you see out in the street with the police acting crazy and all that, that's Saturn probably retro while Uranus is present. Because Uranus comes. Uranus is like, look, we're going to change. It's like a board meeting. You know, like if you are a business person like I am, if you're business savvy, a board meeting usually have, the top board members and then the lower shareholders, and then you have the owner or the heir of the company, right? We as humanity are the heir of Earth. And Uranus is coming as one of the top shareholders of Earth. And he's like, no, she does not take that route. She took that route before. We're going this way, and you can come with us, or you can come, or we can drag you kicking and screaming. It is your choice. But either way, we're going this way. Because the only reason I perceive things this way is because after Uranus left Taurus in I believe it was 41, and World War II happened a few years later, 20 years later, civil rights happened, right? But things got laid back because 15 years after civil rights is when the drug pandemic happened, where all the cocaine and crack cocaine. I know this isn't spiritual, guys. I know I'm very 3D right now, but just hear me out here, okay? This is history, happened before. History is happening before our eyes, but we need to connect those dots so we can know where we're going in the future. I know this is not my typical chakra, spiritual, colorology, burn candles, burn sage conversation, but it's a conversation we need to have. But it's not a conversation that I have like most people have. I can't just stick on race. It's bigger than race. Race is like the one thing that has not been fixed in this country for over 100 and probably 20 to 50 years. But this isn't purely about race. This is more about, it's a bigger picture, right? So just follow along if you can. So Uranus is coming through, and Uranus is like the new president, right? And he's getting the brief. He's getting the briefing. The briefing is happening. He's getting the briefing, right? And he's just like, how is this happening? Like, how? Okay, let's be like blatant with this conversation. How do you guys have iPhones and you're able to communicate across the world, across satellites in our universe, but yet you can't just get along as human beings? We have to fix this, right? So the George Floyd incident, I believe, was going to happen regardless if Uranus was direct in Taurus or not. I believe it was leading to such a great traumatic police to civilian interaction that we were going to experience that. That was going to happen. However, with Uranus and Taurus, it propels everyone to react differently. This is why right now you have young Caucasian children who are facing their parents, and they're telling their parents, I never knew you were so racist. They never knew their parents were racist. Now, some of those videos are cameo, like they're staged, you can tell based on the people. But some of those videos are true. Like, some of these children are traumatized. Like, they did not know that their parents were, the way that they are. They thought their parents were law-abiding, honest people, but they're not, right? And then you have the pain and suffering of my community, where I come from another country, and this isn't something you face in my country or in many other African countries. Like, South Africa is different. South Africa is structured like Europe and America. It's different because they went through apartheid. It's different. But the the blatant disregard for you as a human being is something that I've not seen in a long time. It's a blatant disregard for you as a human being. If you can understand what I'm saying, it's a blatant. We hug our dogs, we lick their faces, we rub our cats, we rub our lizards, we give affection to our turtles and our freaking fish. The fish that are in fish tanks get love, and we have a blatant disregard. And when I say we, I mean humanity, because racism isn't purely a black and white thing. There's black people who are honestly racist against each other. Colorism exists. There's so much that exists in this world. But it's just when you break it down from the emotional side and look at it from a spiritual side, it's a blatant disregard for another person's humanity. Like I can't see you as a human, and I can't, okay. I can't see you as a human, but I can't see you as anything higher than a human. I can only see you something as lower than a human, because I see myself as a human. My gosh. You have to understand how that feels. Okay, you could not see me as a human, but you can see me as, a spiritual being, a metaphysical being. You can see me as a god. You can see me as a tree, for crying out loud. But you don't see me as a human, and therefore you perceive yourself as a human. So I must be lower than a human. I'm not a monkey. I'm not a dog who licks its own butt. I'm not a cat. I'm below every species on the face of this planet. My God. I think this is what people don't understand. I think this is what, I think this is what people don't understand. You can hug a tree. You can hug a tree. Another human being standing in front of you is below everything. The dirt, the poop coming out of a dog's butt. Because people bend down and pick up poop out of a dog's butt with a plastic bag with no glove on. So the poop coming out of a dog's butt is more valuable. You can deal with that more than you can deal with me. Like, whoa, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? That's, we got to get elementary with racism. If we don't get elementary with racism, we're going to raise another generation of people who are going to either hate themselves, hate their parents, or hate society and government. And we can't, man, it's a lot. 2020, I still strongly believe 2020 is the year where you do create your reality. I just believe it's going to take a lot of work to create a societal comfort, if that makes sense. It's going to be real rough to create a societal comfort for everyone when racism is right there on everyone's dining room table and we're all quietly eating our dinner, and racism is sitting there so nobody's going to acknowledge me, and we're all we're trying to ride this out and wait until you leave. We're not trying to talk to you. And racism is well, I'm not going anywhere, so you guys are gonna have to figure this out on your own. That's how it feels. Guys, I have so much emotions running through me. I have my own personal stuff that I'm dealing with. It's an evolution, okay? It's a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual evolution. Whatever stage you're at, if you're in a emotional stage, because a lot of people are in an emotional stage. There's a lot of male and female civilians, human beings, sisters and brothers, on this planet that have been participating in a lot of harmful emotional behavior, that have said to themselves, enough is enough. I don't want to do this anymore. And they've gone. It's been years. It's been like I can honestly say I've been seeing this pattern from 2010, where it's been years where people have been changing themselves slowly, breaking those they call them generational curses, but it's like you've been breaking those patterns of pain, right? And now we've reached the mountain. We have some work to do around the world. And the crazy thing is, it's not just America. It's, if you notice, the never before have protesting for Black lives hit the world this hard, because you would have to be a monster. Honestly, you would have to be a monster to look at that video and not witness a murder. This man was murdered. His body was dead before the EMT arrived. And it touched everyone. It doesn't matter if you are Middle Eastern, Asian, Indian, European, Slovakian. It touched everyone, because we've all felt some form of racism. If you're a Jewish Slovakian living in Slovakia, you felt some form of racism. If you're a Muslim living anywhere on the face of this planet, just like Black people, you felt some form of racism. If you are Asian, you felt racism. If you're Indian, you felt it touched the hearts of people around the world. And I think the thing that touched all of our hearts was, my God, this could be me. This could literally be me. They could literally suffocate me to death. My God. What is going on in our world? So guys, I'm gonna make this video as short as I can make it. As we go about the rest of this year, if you're protesting, be safe, please. Because this is chaos. This is Uranus coming and shaking our world up. It's like if you take a snow globe and you just shake it. We do that all the time. But we don't ever perceive what is it like inside the snow globe. What if you're one of those little characters inside the snow globe and someone's shaking you to death? We are being shaken, awakened. Literally, we are being shaken, awakened. As each and every one of us wake up. Love conquers everything. And in the state of war, you will say, forget love. We are at war. But no one goes to war without passion and love. I love my country, therefore I defend it. I'm passionate about freedom, therefore I fight for it. Love exists in everything that we do. Don't ever forget that. Love conquers everything. There will come a day when the most racist people will be able to sit at a table with those who they were racist against, and the veil of blindness that was protecting them from seeing the foulness of their own behavior will be lifted. And they will see these people, human beings, for people, human beings. And love will be there, waiting, like, finally, you're up. Hi, I'm love. These are people. These are human beings. They want to talk to you and have a normal conversation. When I was a child, I wanted to be a doctor at first. And then I got my first shot and I was like, nope, screw that. These people crazy. They put needles in people's arms. Like I went crazy. I was crying. It was embarrassing. I was crying. And I was like, I never want to be a doctor. You guys are mean. You put needles in people's arms. But it's not until learning later on through my own research why. Why we do that. That's love. From a racist person, a hateful person's point of view, the needle is love. It hurts because you've never experienced or gave yourself the chance to experience that with someone whom you believed to be less than you. That's love. When love pierces you, it hurts. When hate, oh my God. When hate pierces you, it hurts. So I can only imagine what love feels for a hateful person, you know? But that day will come. I believe in the next 7 to 10 years, that day will come when we will have a very balanced conversation with one another. And we will close that door and lock it. What the civil rights era wanted to do, this generation will do it. We will close that door and we will lock it. And we will be able to open our minds and our hearts to focus on something greater than racism. We will have flying cars because we will allow great minds to come together and work together. You never know. Maybe there's no flying cars because that kid who could create the technology for the flying cars is in the hood somewhere, is in the Middle East somewhere, is in China, in the poverty-stricken cities of China somewhere, is in India somewhere, is in Africa somewhere. But when we cross over to love, everyone will get a chance. Everyone's voices will be heard, and great minds will come together. And we will change our planet. We will change the frequency of our world. We will change the frequency of our hearts. And love will conquer. I just wanted to share that. Don't give up. Don't give in. Don't give up and don't give in. Don't get mad enough to give up. Don't get sad enough to give in. We win, yo. You guys don't understand. Love wins. She's right here and she's telling each and every one of us, be strong because I'm strong. In war, there's always a wound that takes longer to heal than most wounds. She got hit. Love got hit. Her heart got bam. Well, that was a harsh one. And hate is like, ha ha ha, now I'm on top. No, that's temporary. Mankind did not go from being tribal people mixing with Neanderthals, creating the new human being, creating technology that blows the minds of our ancestors, learning how amazing our ancestors truly were, trying to fulfill those roles today to fail. We did not come this far to fail. We did not come this far to fail. So if you hear me out there, I love every one of you guys. Every time someone subscribes to my channel, I'm like, thank you. I must have reached someone. Love, man. Love, kid. Love, we will win. Believe me, we're only alive in this planet with everything that this sentient being has been through with us. We're only alive inside of her only because of love. Only because of love. She loves the crap out of us. Therefore, every day we rise, we sleep, we rise, we sleep. But while we're in between the stage of rising and sleeping, them 12 hours that we're up, let's practice love. Racism is so outdated. This is 2020. People should be ashamed to still believe that black people are beneath them when, not to get, arrogant or anything, when you research majority of the things that were created in America, they were were all created by mostly black people. All those patents were owned by mostly black people. It's sad to still believe that the stoplight that you're sitting at in your car was created by a black person. The hair dryer that you use to dry your hair was created by a black person. The washing machine and the dryer that you use to wash and dry your clothes were created by black people. And these are the same people that they say are less than human beings. Then they must be gods. They must be gods. If you believe a human being is the highest rate that you can have on this planet, then they must be gods, and you don't understand God. Before I start ranting, guys, I'm going to end this, but I must say, we have to start loving each other, man. I don't care what language you speak, what color you are. Yo, in this moment, my children were joking. We were like, yo, we should go straight purple and polka dot. What do you think? And my daughter was like, that'd be so cool. I want to be yellow with purple polka dots. And have a unicorn horn with sparkles. I'm like, yo, we have to get past skin color. We have to stop being blind, because these kids that are being born in this world do not deserve this type of disgrace from adults. I have to explain to my daughter why adults, my 5-year-old, why adults treat each other so bad. She was like, you guys just can't get it right. I'm like, you're so right. You're right. We just can't get it right. She was like, if I did this at school, my teacher would put me in punishment and I wouldn't be able to play at recess for like a week. I'm like, you're right. You're 100. I can't say anything to you because you're right. Adults need to learn. I'm like, you're right. You're right. We should be ashamed of ourselves as adults. Adults. You are the rulers of this planet. You are adults. You should be ashamed of yourself. That our children have to witness this misbehavior of ours. We're acting like children. I hate you because you're black. Wow. If we were children if we were children on a playground during recess and a child said that to another child, there would be a punishment for saying that. Regardless which way it was coming from. I hate you because you're white. I hate you because you're Indian. I hate you. There would be repercussions to that child. But as adults, we can literally kill one another because of our own personal beliefs. That's crazy, man. We are really screwing up our children, yo. You guys, I don't know when I will make another video. I just had to talk. I hope you guys receive this with an open heart. Think of our kids, man. My child might end up marrying your child, and we might end up meeting one day. And we are strangers to one another. Think about our children. Think about our children. They are being raised in this world. And they have to question you and themselves. They have to question their reality and themselves. That's sad. That is not a normal space for an innocent soul to be in. We have to do better. Man, I'm gonna get off of here now. You guys have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful morning. Have a wonderful afternoon. Meditate. Do yoga. Go for a run. You know what? At this point, have a drink. Smoke some weed. Do whatever you need to do to just process. Because we're processing a lot. It's a lot right now. It's a lot. Just find your peace and find your way back to love. You could get angry depending on which side of the pendulum you're on. But don't forget love. Find your love. Find your peace. So that we collectively, because This planet is a collective consciousness, and we all know this. So we need to find our peace, and we need to find our love, and we need to come together as one. I love you guys so much.